Event Horizon is one of the more requested films on the channel. I've given it a watch several times. In this video, we explore the subtle clues that reveal hints of the past and foreshadows the future. Obviously, spoilers ahead. Before I begin, like, share, or subscribe if you enjoy this content and want to see more like this one. The film's opening is complete with a black hole where names and credits are sucked into the vacuum of space. The movie hasn't started and we're already tipped off. Then there are established shots of the event horizon, adrift in space outside Neptune. A look inside the ship reveals a man, perhaps tortured. A scream and Dr. Weir wakes up in his quarters. Is the doctor having visions? Is he connected with the event horizon somehow? Or are these two scenes unrelated? Weir begins each day living in the shadows of his wife. His bed is similar to a coffin, a futuristic rendition of a tomb, complete with trinkets, ornaments, and objects of her life. First-time viewers will not yet understand the gravity of his emotions. There is a little burial vault lying on a cold metal shelf, resting in front of a memorial that reminds us of a funeral ceremony, just on a smaller scale. Taking center position is a photo of the two of them from a different time when both enjoyed happiness. Weir obscures his half of the photo. His wife is alone in the frame, a pose that may signify she is waiting. The flash photography hints little other light illuminated its subject. An incongruent mismatch of tea and wine rests on the table, raising curiosity at when this photo was taken. Likely much later than the one behind it. Could this be her last photo? Taking a shave with a straight razor, Weir is captivated by the tub. There is an obtuse camera angle, many grooming products lying alongside, likely left untouched for a very long time. Water drips from the faucet, a subconscious hint to focus our attention there. Dripping water should be fixed, but it's not. It hints there is something wrong about this. The ghost of Weir's wife is permanently positioned here. Weir puts the blade to his neck and gives pause. Cut to an exterior scene, looking into Weir's residence. It's disorienting. Is it us or is it him? He opens up the blinds. Is this a cage? But there is nowhere to go. He's still just as trapped in outer space. Rescue ship, the Lewis and Clark, is introduced from outside looking in, peering through its blinds. The crew do not see as far as Dr. Weir and may be just as trapped. In the bridge, Captain Miller makes his entrance from a suspended chair. The first words he says are,
"You know the rules, people. Someone drops the ball, we get the call."
The idiom about dropping the ball becomes much more important later, much more ironic. As Miller spins to look at his crew, we see a corner of his chair patched up with duct tape. It hints a broken past and imperfection that doesn't necessarily impede his leadership, but does tarnish it, even if it functions just as well. From another angle, we do not see the tape. This is how his crew sees him. They do not see imperfection. The crew hurries to the grav couches, a liquefied tube putting the crew in suspended animation before a long flight. The captain shares a smoke with the doctor, but Smith, a man with a common name, takes time to pray. If his gestures don't give away his religious practices, the large tattoo on his back does. This tips off his skepticism of science over the laws of God. Weir wakes up early in his status tube and steps out and spins around the room. He sees the rest of the crew asleep, but there is another tube unoccupied and recently opened. Weir investigates, sensing, hearing someone else in the ship. Stepping into the bridge, he sees the ghost of his wife, Clair, staring out through the blinds. She casts a reflection, a hint that her material being has substance, has reality. However, Clair shows she can be in two places at once and is never out of touch of her husband, even without eyes. It turned out to be a dream, or was it a vision? A vision where she came along for the ride. Waking up, Weir is startled, confused, or emotionally paralyzed over an offer of coffee. First viewing may make you think it's due to his disorientation recovering from hibernation, but I may have another theory, and that's for another time. A jump cut to home video, and it's the most frightening image so far. A clown. Whether it's the video quality, the color saturation, the makeup, the obnoxious umbrella over its head, the clown is our first example of demonic images recorded on video format. Peter's son, Denny, is introduced as a paraplegic, wheelchair-bound, and reaches for his mother. If you watch the clown in the birthday video again, you'll see the clown from one cut to another in one frame of time. The clown advances towards the camera, towards the viewer. However, if you look at the date timestamp, it steadily advances 4 units a frame at a time. This is called a jump cut. A jump cut implies time and events happened in between, a continuity leap. The clown has a different pose. The camera or the clown are in different positions. This is purposely unsettling and a vague hint that spatial awareness and time are being altered, its rules bent. A ball escapes and playfully hits Peters. This is where we learn that Justin's nickname is Baby Bear. Likewise, Mother Peters is known as Mama Bear. Remember the idiom, drops the ball. This is exactly what Justin did. And let's not call the ball just a ball, but rather a sphere. Justin mishandling a sphere is another foreshadow. Captain Miller apologizes to Peters for not finding a replacement. In this conversation we learn Peters is separated from her son's father, describing him as her ex. While on the surface, this exposition shows the emotional toll of a mother separated from her son. It goes one step further, however. Peter's earlobe shows a sign of an earring pulled and ripped from her. Was this physical abuse? Does she carry guilt leaving behind her son with a violent father? The film reveals no more, the script even less. This was a subliminal message left to our own conclusions. In the quarters, Cooper pours a drink out of his thermos for someone, likely Justin. It's a clear liquid, so it's not coffee. Movie trope would have me believe it's an adult beverage. If this was deliberate and not a poor choice of prop on set, it tells me some of the crew are already prone to impaired cognitive abilities. Weir shares more of the mission's backstory with the crew and plays a recorded message. Smith has a crucifix in his mouth. As evidence of the supernatural are beginning to play out, he starts swallowing his faith. The Lewis and Clark arrives at Neptune. It's a rocky approach. Flying blind, a toy stuffed bear, a baby bear, falls, foretelling the first to suffer. If you're an unbeliever, the next person we see in the very next cut is Justin. The bear isn't the only one that will drop. Not much of a clue, but certainly a foreshadow, showcasing the mid-corridor explosives that can blast the ship in half. The engineer, Justin, makes his way to the gravity drive, walking through a tunnel resembling a funhouse for the macabre. Justin comments how it looks like a meat grinder. The film begins its turning point. The clues become less subtle and more explicit. It is time for the hints to reveal its answers. The young engineer puts his finger in black goo and is pulled inside. Responsibility speaking, he dropped the ball and Cooper gets the call. Captain Miller's imperfect past rises from the dead. Peter's memories of her son and guilt leaving him behind comes to life. Smith, who I believe is the everyman, confronts Weir over his scientific ambitions, but DJ, another man of science, puts a scalpel to Smith's throat, very reminiscent to Weir in front of his mirror. Was this a symbol of science always checking itself and others for hints of disbelief? Peters, while salvaging parts from the ship, is hypnotized or falls under the illusion of her son and falls literally, as the bear predicted. Through Weir's eyes, we learn the mystery of his tub. Smith finds the explosive too late, and the MacGuffin is used a second time. There is one final clue of foreshadowing that leaves us a bookend. What is left of the Event Horizon ship and its gravity drive is sucked into a vortex on planet Neptune, like a black hole, just as the opening credits foretold. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Event Horizon? Has there been any film like it since? This is Mr. G of Synergy saying, if you want to live long, don't touch the black goo. Check out other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.